Well, hello, everyone. So, anyways, sorry about the brief cutoff and everything on the last one. Um, one of my good friends, she was going live and on Discord, so I uh, I went and saw her. Hey, American Justice Sis. Hey, Maria Sis. How y'all doing? So, might as well do this. Man, just do a discussion like what we normally do. While the sounds of the Texas rains come through. Yeah, I try to support everybody I can, American Justices. I'm glad you're doing good, Maria sis. So, like always, at the beginning of my streams, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that, sis. No, don't call me sir. Sis. I work for a living. Yeah. Hey, sorry, sis. Oh, thank you, Maria. So, you know, while like at the beginning of our beginning of my streams or anything, we take a good time to let everybody say hello to each other, let everybody introduce themselves to each other, because my my thing has people from every corner of YouTube, you know. And I don't fall in a specific category of person, but I just want y'all to get to know each other, have a good friendship, a friendship coming in here. And we'll just have everybody meet up and everything. And when we get enough people in here, I will continue doing, I will start doing the live stream. Um, but right now, as the title said, in an SHTF situation, in the end of the world, every person, no matter what, will have a job, will have a role. And that's what we're going to discuss. Hey, Bama, how you doing? How you doing, brother? Yes, ma'am. A a joke. I'm just gonna call you Texas. How about that? Oh, did it? Did it, Sarah? I'm sorry, but oh yeah, I'm doing good, Bama brother. I'm doing good. Well, let's. Oh. Oh. Let's see here. Brand. Yeah. Brand. Oh. Brand. I pulled the laptop out because my phone is not doing what I want it to do. Put that thing up. Uh-oh. Okay. I'll check it out in just a second, sis. I am actually sitting outside of a Starbucks right now. Alright, since we got enough people in here right now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the opening. So get ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So, gotcha. No problem. But, all right. So, in an shtf situation, all right, there's no rest for the wicked. No matter what you do in everyday life or shtf, there is going to be jobs. Except for in a shtf situation, you're not getting paid. You are going to be issued a job by your skills. How you doing, Oz? How you doing, brother? Welcome, welcome, welcome. But just like everyday life, you're going to have a job. You're going to have something. You're going to be put in a role, a job. And instead of getting paid, you're going to be paid with food, shelter, water. Those are the essentials that you need to survive, the essentials that you need to live. There is no rest. In an SHTF situation, you are not going to have an off day. You are not going to have a time to recuperate because you are constantly going to be doing something. Something will always need to be done. You will not be able to put stuff on the back burner like we do in today's standards. Everything's going to be to everything's going to need to be upkeeped. Everything's going to need to be fixed. Perimeters are always going to be needed to be watched. You are going to have to be on guard 24/7. There is always going to be somebody awake at every moment of the day to protect what you have. At the beginning, you're not going to have this. Hey, Derek, how you doing, brother? At the beginning of the SHTF situation, you're not going to have a group. You're not going to have a militia or a community like what we have right now. More or less, you are going to be by yourself with your family. The whole idea of being to bug out, get away, and go to a compound with other people. That's all, like I said last night, that's all well and good in a perfect scenario. But SHTF situation is not a perfect scenario. Right, Oz, right. You know, when most of these survival books and urban survival and all this stuff that came out, the world was a different place at those times. The world was more easier to predict because everybody was more basic. They were not as chaotic as they are today. Um, Right, Oz. Right. Always, Derek. Always, brother. Like I said, you're all my brothers and sisters. I try to show respect to everybody, and I try to support everybody as much as I can. I may not be at everybody's live streams all the time, but I will pop up when I can. But yeah, like what you said, Oz, there is nothing that can be predicted anymore. The way that the world is, the mindset of these new generations, the world is in a complete and utter chaos. There is no single-minded way of thinking anymore. There is now technically a flock mentality. We follow whatever we wish to follow at whatever time we wish to follow it. I mean, thanks, Sarsis. But there is no way to follow the mindsets of books or strategies or ideas that were set 50 plus years ago. Even with wilderness survival, the way that the world is now, it's more of urban survival now. It's a more of an urban way of life now. Even in backcountry areas, counties, stuff like that. The mindset of those individuals have even changed because of the internet, the way that people wish to be in the now times. Oh yeah, Maria. Yeah, it will be. Yes and no, Derek. At one point or another, the world will start to heal. The world will start to come together once again. They will start making communities once again. We will start rebuilding with the same mindset that got destroyed. But getting back to what we are now won't happen for another 100 years, maybe 50. But in the reality of everything, I mean, technically, I hate saying it, but some ideas of The Walking Dead TV show showed how the world would be. In a fictional way. It showed how the world went into chaos. It showed how everybody was acting in the first couple of years of an shtf situation. Red Dawn would only happen, Bama, if war truly does happen. If, say, each country goes at each other's throats. Most countries would give all that they could to come and destroy America, for the way America has created an idealism on other countries. So why not destroy the one country that has literally brought down the rest of the world with their way of thinking, their way of chaos? We as Americans, the way our American government is run, we are a mockery. We tell other countries how to act, how to be, how to dress, how to speak. But we can't even follow our own rules. We can't even control our own people of our country. But we try to be an idol to other countries, which is a contradiction. Right, Oz. That's what I was saying too. I mean, in the end of the world, humans only have humanity because of the laws, because we have other people, aka the police, the government, the court systems, that tells us how we should act, how we should be. Right, Texas. Right. Right, Oz. Right. I mean, a lot of people say the end of the world's going to happen whenever the sun burns out. But it's more likely the core of the earth is going to burn out before the sun will burn out. Oh, yeah, Oz. The true definition of the word zombie is a human that will do anything and everything in their power to protect themselves or to better themselves. They will rape, steal, kill. It doesn't matter as long as they are protected. An ordinary average Joe that works 9 to 5 and everything, that can barely make the ends meet and stuff, even when that person falls on hard times, they think it's easier to go to a store, pull a gun, and rob a convenience store. And even if they get caught, even if they go to jail, they are still protected in a sense. They have a roof over their head, they have free food, and a place to sleep at night. That's why, like, a lot of homeless commits small felonies. So the police will put them in a holding cell for a limited amount of time. Hey, Tryon, how you doing? Right, Oz. We are. We are already in a zombie apocalypse. Yes. But after SHTF happens, oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, Bama, they don't care. They don't care as long as they're not on the streets starving. They could care less what their living conditions are. Um, but back to the topic on it, you know, after the SHTF happens, remember what I said to you. There's 3 stages to the SHTF. There is the beginning crash, the fear, the the panic. That means with the first month to 6 months will be people killing each other, people stealing from each other, people doing whatever they can do to survive. Then there's the mid crisis. The mid crisis is the after effect of all the fear. After everybody's dead, after a lot of people are dead, after a lot of people have stolen, have eaten everything that they could get their hands on because they don't know how to ration. Then it comes into the fear of the after effect of everybody running out of anything they can get their hands on. That means no more canned food on the shelves. That means no more drinks. That means no more anything. Everything has been completely scavenged in that first fear. Now everybody is now becoming zombies. They are now doing whatever they can. They are scavenging. They are breaking into houses. They are breaking into other buildings. They are literally robbing anything or anyone that they can find to see if there's something that they can eat or use or whatever. You're going to see a mass amount of these people joining forces with each other, joining groups, making communities. Yeah, Derek, yeah. Right, Tryon. Right, Texas. A zombie isn't a dead person that comes back to life. They brought that idea of a quote unquote zombie out out in around the 50s and the 60s to get around the government. And it was kind of a play on words for people that listen to anything and everything that the government and the media told people. They still use that terminology for people that will not do their own research. It's the people that are easily fooled, easily manipulated. They are quote unquote zombies. They're also called sheep, stuff like that. But anybody that will believe whatever that they read or whatever they've heard, and that's their only form of information. That's their only form of whatever. Oh, it's the Pet Shop Boys. It's all good, Oz. It's all good, brother. But then after that, after the mid-crisis, then it turns into death, the death cycle, or the survival of the fittest cycle. That is the people that still have the willpower to continue on. The people that have formed communities that are thriving, that are literally fortifications now. They started off small with a small group of people. They've learned how to garden. They've learned how to make a small web of electricity to share within their community. They have a way to be able to survive. And then they've took on other survivors to build up their fortifications, to build up their way of life. These strongholds will be like major cities of the past, or what we see as major cities today. But in that's where the roles, the jobs come into effect now. And in an SHTF situation, it doesn't matter if you're mentally handicapped. It doesn't matter what you are as a person. The more skills you have, the better off you are. But the less skills that you have, and the more easier you are to be manipulated, you are going to be one of the masses for these strongholds. Because in every great civilization, there's always going to be somebody that's a leader, and everybody else is going to be the followers of that person. And I hate bringing it up, but The Walking Dead brought out those scenarios almost good, almost true. Wait. Hold on. Hold on. Yes, Texas, yes. Like, oh, I know you're not trying to be funny. You're literally asking questions about this. But, yes, zombies is a way that the human reacts and acts. Yes. How they handle situations, how they are easily controlled, how easy they are to be broken, how they succumb to a situation. Because everybody's critical thinking breaks at a point when they cannot handle the reality of a situation. Oh yeah, Derek, I'm right there with you, brother. Yeah, Oz. Yes. And that's what I'm trying to say. Imagine just that scenario, but with more kids. I know your children are a lot different. They were raised different, Oz. But the majority of American children, if the internet goes out or the power goes out and they're not able to play their video games or get on the internet or create memes or whatever, they turn into literal creatures of darkness. Like they don't know how to be human. They don't even know how to be human on video games, let alone take their internet away, take their phone away, take anything that they cannot be a internet sensation. They are nothing. If they cannot ask Google how to do something, they have no critical thinking. They have no common sense. Yeah, Oz. So you have a you have a roundabout idea about it. But yeah, out here they don't know how to be they don't know how to be human, let alone know how to handle a situation on their own. Um, and that's why I fear what's going to happen in the next 10 years. Because the majority of things is going to happen in the next 10 years. Maybe sooner, but I am certain within the next 10 years something's going to happen. Right, Oz. Yeah. Hey, CR brother, how you doing? So, when it comes to jobs, when it comes to roles in these end of time compounds, you are not going to be judged by your everyday skills. You are going to be judged by what you can do as a technical skill. If you're a farmer, if you know how to grow things, You are going to be a farmer. You are going to be the one to grow, take care, maintain all of the edible crops, all of that stuff. And here's the thing, nobody knows your skills. So when you go to a compound, you have to prove your skills before they even let you in. Kind of like how you have a grace period at a job. Say you're in a construction company. They give you 3 months to prove your worth. If you cannot prove your worth, what you say you can do and what you can't do on your application, they fire you. Well, in a SHTF situation, if they allow you into their compound and you say that you can grow food and you can take care of gardens and all this stuff, but it comes out that you don't know anything, they're going to let you go. But they're not going to let you just run back out into the wilderness like a wild animal and live, because you know where their compound is. You know you've been inside their compound for almost a month. You know their weaknesses. You know their structure. When they let you go, you're dead. You're not going to be free so you can go and find other people and bring them back to that compound. You are dead. You have to realize this stuff. And right, Texas. Yeah. Oh, yeah, CR. Right, Oz. But you have to know your skills. You have to know your skill set before a compound will let you in. Take care, trying, brother. Get some sleep. You know I'll always be on another day, brother. You take care. Thank you for stopping in, brother. But always know your place. Know your worth. Because that's the only ticket that's going to get you into a rebuilding society after the beginning and middle fears, the beginning and middle threats happen. Because 3 years after an SHTF situation happens, where where government and society collapses, there is no waiting on FEMA to save you, because it's not going to happen. So the rebuilding of quote unquote societies is going to happen 3 to 5 years after SHTF happens. Take care, Bama, brother. Get some sleep. So, and not only are you going to have to do normal jobs in the compound, but you're also going to have to do double duty as a guard for the compound, because guards, everything is going to be on a time frame. They're always going to need somebody protecting the compound, because what you have created, other people will want. Look at the Mongols, the Mongolians versus the Chinese. I mean, look at the Franks and the Britons versus Rome. Look at any outside threat against your compound, against your castle. It will never end during SHTF. There is always going to be people starving. There is always going to be somebody that will try whatever they can do to get something for free. You can see it all the time. I do security, and you get, at bus stops, at bus stations, the homeless people know when these bus stations close. And they know if they ride on the very last bus to that particular bus stop, they try their hardest to be able to make an excuse or whatever, to be able to stay there for X amount of time. They will say, oh, can I charge my phone? Can I use the bathroom? Can I get a drink of water? Can I do this? Can I do that? Then you get the homeless people that try to be sneaky and try to sneak in when they don't see any guards around and try to make a holdup and sleep. Hey, Laura, sis, how you doing? That's another thing, CR. People always need other people that understand a little bit of everything. People in that kind of situation, like you, that have ideas and all this stuff, you will be more like a maintenance man in a community. You know, you would be setting up a solar panel. You would go over and fix the generator. People like you would have multiple small tasks to complete every day. You would be literally keeping up with all the small areas that need constant attention. There's no way of telling, Texas. There's no way of telling each scenario. Each scenario is a basis on human psychology. How long it takes for a human psychosis to quickly adapt to changes. They usually give the beginning fear of society breakdown 6 months to a year, because that's when people start getting accustomed to the change. Just like how the beginning of the epidemic happened. when everybody started freaking out, people started buying toilet paper and everything. Then, when everybody had to literally be locked in their houses, that took a year for people to stay indoors and away from other people. And even then, some people could not handle that change even within a year. Right, that too, CR. No one's flying her plane. Pretty much, CR. Yeah. You would kind of be like Glenn, yeah. But the only thing is even, and here's the thing, here's another thing. At the beginning of it, everything, all major things, water purification centers, power generators, even septic lines and stuff like that, it is meant to have a breaking point after a year. So if people within the first year of society collapse, there will be enough power to run before the grid collapses to be between 6 months to a year. The max is a year. Most people say that grids in like big cities will collapse within 5 to 7 months. Water refineries and stuff like that, purification areas, will collapse usually within 5 months, sometimes 8 months, depending on where it is. If it's in desert areas like Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, stuff like that, it will break down a lot quicker because those are desert regions that need a constant check. I mean, even Texas, that San Antonio alone runs on recycled water. Like, we don't have enough water backup to supply this city. So, or any of the outlining counties. So we rely on a water purification, a water recycling center for our backup water. So those backup water recycling centers need to be filtered every month. It has a max filtration system of 3 months for recycled water. Yeah. The VCR, CR. Nah, I'm not cool, Sarah. I'm really a downer. A lot of people hate talking to me because of the way I bring down a lot of people. Like when I go into a live stream, like when I go into Shadow Scout Swede's live stream with CR and stuff, first words that come out of my mouth, everybody's like, "Oh, great." Here he is. We're trying to build up the panel and everything, and Matthew comes in and just kicks it like a sandcastle. Nah, CR, I'm not. But here's the thing. The majority of water, the majority of power, stuff like that, yeah. But there's only a handful of people that are smart enough to bring the grid back on. But those people are few and far between. The majority of this stuff is those people. A lot of those people are too intelligent for their own good. They're more book smart than they are common sense smart. The only person I've ever ran into that has a decent amount of intelligence to common sense is Drop in that kind of mindset. Oh yeah, Laura. Yeah. But the thing is like, if you live in a small area that still runs on nuclear energy, like say Tennessee in Chattanooga had a called the Sequoia Nuclear Power Plant, and it ran all of Chattanooga and Hickson, Tennessee, and all the outlining counties and stuff. They had over 300 employees every day working to keep that nuclear power plant running. A lot of big cities don't have nuclear power. A lot of cities that run on the Mississippi River, a lot of those states, they run on hydroelectric power. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, Laura. So, to try to bring back electricity or anything back to cities, stuff like that, it's not going to happen. I try to be Texas. I try to be cis. But a lot of people don't like my realistic ideas. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, CR. Because you are literally... I take live streams like a... I think of it like a... I take a lot of live streams like a college class with a professor and everything. The interaction in between it. If the person has intelligence, you know what I mean, and is able to talk. Hey Grant, how you doing? How you doing, brother? Thank you. But the one things the one thing that a lot of big cities could, that some people could get up and running again, first off, it would have to be power. You would have to find a way to bring power back on into the grid. Because without power, without a major power source, running power to the water filtration plants, you will not be able to have clean, fresh drinking water. Another thing is sewage, is because a lot of states and everything, they run sewer line right beside the water lines in a lot of the cities. Yeah, Professor Matt. That's funny. But and if anything happened, because the water pressure that's built up into the water pipe systems will create ruptures within the water system. Both clean, fresh drinking water and the sewer lines that run beside it, the septic tank systems, stuff like that. So when one busts, the other one will bust also. Yeah, Grant. Yeah, you can. If you do it from a tablet or a phone, a lot of people, they use StreamYard. What you need to do is download StreamYard, then wait a day for it to set up your account and everything. Then you can use StreamYard to go live from your tablet. There's other streaming services out there, but the majority of people use StreamYard. Right, CR. Yeah. But so when society collapses, there is only a limited amount of time to be able to clear and filtrate the water system back to drinking water once again. Right. Yeah, Grant. Yeah. I mean, StreamYard, it usually takes a day to set up your account with them, so they can make your account and give you your own passcodes and all that stuff. That's why it takes so long, brother. But that's why I'm trying to say that if SHTF happens, if society collapses, if the way that modern civilization has set up everything to be on a grid system, that everything runs off of everything, there is no rebuilding the society once again with our basic setups that we have set up. We would have, because of after everything that goes through, because you also have to take into account also everybody that's going to get sick from the mass murders and the mass dead bodies that have been killed during the first two phases of the scenario, of the SHTF scenario. And it's the same thing. That's one thing that they did not do during Walking Dead or any kind of like zombie like scenario, survival situation, is the sicknesses that will occur during the rotting of the flesh areas. That's why they don't allow people to go into catacombs without a breathing apparatus, is because of the diseases, the airborne pathogens from the decaying flesh that's in those crypts. Right, Laura. I ain't no professor. Yeah. But here's the thing. The sicknesses, the constant smell of rotting flesh. A lot of people are going to die from that. A lot of people are going to get diseases from the opened air, the open contaminated air of the decomposing bodies. That's going to be a major, major problem. And especially with hospitals and everything closing down, with no hospitals, no modern medicines, because everybody has already raided all the pharmacies and all this stuff. And there is not going to be any medicines because there's going to be so many people addicted to drugs that is going to be breaking into pharmacies to take all the drugs that's around. That is, I don't think, I seriously, right, no refrigeration either. Oh yeah, Flock, yeah. I've found a lot of dead homeless doing security that were just asleep. They died asleep, you know. I've had to. They were John and Jane Does. All right, cool, Grant. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get off here soon, Grant. But the roles. Let me talk about roles that are going to be needed in a SHTF situation. Gotcha, Grant. Yeah, I'm insulin dependent, brother. So that's one problem that's going to happen in SHTF situations, is people dying from medications that they need that they cannot get. And the thing is a lot of people don't know what their medication is without a pharmacist getting it for them. Oh yeah, Laura. Yeah, sis. I I understand 100% on that. But the jobs that are going to be required, basic vocational skills are going to be required. That means construction workers, that means maintenance workers, electricians, stuff like that, that is going to be needed. Handymen, military, police, security. Then that's going to be for in the compound. Outside of the compound, you are going to need hunters, scavengers. You're going to need, bushcrafters, people that are able to forage. You are going to need people that are herbalists. Then anybody in the medical fields, that's a must. Then there's going to be scouts. Scouts going to new areas, seeing how dangerous certain areas are. They go out, they come back, and they give you the okay. They say, well, this small town, about a day and a half walk away is, has a small population of maybe 10, 15 people in it. We could go out there, we could take care of them, be done, raid that small town. There is going to be constant raiding of other places. There is not going to be compounds inside of the cities. Well, there may be compounds inside inside major cities, but the majority of those people that run it are either going to be gang members, and they're not going to allow prisoners free in an shtf situation. I hate to say it, but anybody that's in jail right now or in the future that go to maximum security prisons, they're not going to be let loose. They are literally going to rot away and die in these prisons. But prisons would be a perfect place to raid because they have stockpiles of food. And I'm talking about huge family-sized cans of food. Oh, yes, they are. But prisons would be a major place to raid. And the normal common people will not go to a prison because they're already afraid of prisoners outside. In a perfect scenario, they're afraid of prisons. Well, I mean, technically, yes. I mean, look at the storage capacity of food in prisons, okay? They literally have to serve between 300 to 500 people every day of food. So they do have to have a mass amount of food in stockpile to feed all of these mouths. But it'll also be easier. It would be easier to rate it after the first year, because going to the prison, you're going to have to wait for all the prisoners to die behind bars, because the guards and everything are not going to keep these prisoners alive. They're not. They're going to let them die. Then you have to let the bodies decompose. Then you have to let that prison air out from the decomposition of the bodies. True, Oz. I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, hell, there may be one guy that would hit, open all cage button in an SHTF situation and let all the prisoners out. That could happen. I mean, you don't know. But I kind of want to think, these prison guards know these prisoners, so they wouldn't allow them out. But right, Oz, yeah. Right, CR. Everything is a theory. I mean, I kind of look at everything through the eyes of what happened in Venezuela. Okay? I mean, with everything that went on in Venezuela, like, they still had their prisoners in prison, They didn't allow prisoners to go free because they couldn't afford food for the prisoners, They literally went to rationing on the prisoners. The prisoners got, I I think what they said was the prisoners in prison got a bowl of oatmeal and a slice of bread 3 times a day, and that was it. True, Oz. Very, very true. I mean, they're already behind cages, so I don't know. It is all theorized, It is. These are just educated guesses. They're theories. They are theories because we have never been in a SHTF situation to this point. You know what I mean? Oh no. Right, Flock. And that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Like, people don't understand how bad. And people say that they want a quote unquote zombie apocalypse to happen, and they never once smelt decaying flesh. And the whole entire thing of a zombie apocalypse is decaying flesh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Oz. That's a great book. 1984. Yes. And there's a book called Last Days, and it was written in the 60s, I think, and it was called it was written, yeah, during the 60s, when, and it was about the world went into a nuclear war, and everybody, the world created underground bunkers, and these certain people were allowed to live underground, and they had to live underground until the radiation, I think it was like 150 years or 200 years they lived underground. And this is, the second generation of children that were born underground. They never once set foot above ground. And it was set on a small kind of like friend circle of teenagers that wanted to break away from society and everything. They heard stories about the land above, and they remember their grandparents telling them about these stories and stuff, and they found a way to actually get up onto the earth after after the radiation, everything cleared up. Yeah. Face Off. Was that it? Was it Face Off, or no? That was another one. That was another. I know what you're talking about. Oz. But Last Days, these children found a way to get up onto the earth and everything the after the 200 years. And when they got up there, yeah, yeah. And when they got up onto the surface and everything, they realized that the world was beautiful, and sun and all this stuff and everything. And they went on an adventure to rebuild civilization once again on the surface of the earth. And supposedly in this, like, the humans that remained on earth, the ones that were not elected to go underneath, they turned into these mutants, like mutant-like people. And they were more like caveman monster type people that was affected with the radiation and everything. Called him Rocky. But that's what I think is going to happen. I really think that that's what's going to happen. Not the nuclear thing or whatever, but that's how the world is going to become. These humans are going to become something different than humans. When push comes to shove, when there is no food, where people don't know how to grow food or anything, the easiest resource is going to be other humans. Right, cannibals, yeah. Yes, David, Demolition Man. And welcome, David. How you doing, brother? But, cannibalism is said to ruin the human mindset. It's said it's supposed to drive people insane. All this stuff. Is it technically going to do that? Nobody has physical proof that cannibals go mental, that they have no proof that eating another human has actual any repercussions on a human psyche. Right, Oz, right. So, there is so, like I said, thinking of all of this with so many different scenarios that can happen, it's hard to follow any of these survival mindsets. It's hard to follow any of these survival handbooks at all, because they don't look at every possible scenario and look at the scenarios that branch out from that situation. If you keep looking at every scenario and every turn of event from that scenario, you are literally creating multiple different versions, and none of them connect together. Right, Oz. Right, brother. Everything branches out from another. The blood transfusions, the way human cells are able to replicate other humans' blood to fix diseases and stuff, is a form of vampirism. The almighty Dracul cell. Yeah. Oh, I know, Oz. But that's why if you have ever looked at the late 1700s, early 1800s medical research on cannibals of Africa and the cannibals of South America, you could see that those cannibals were healthier, stronger, and able to heal themselves a lot faster and a lot quicker than normal humans. And why? Why were they able to regenerate and heal quicker than a normal person that doesn't eat human flesh or drink human blood? There was there's a book called The Cannibal Within, and it tells about a English doctor that was in Africa, and he was a big game hunter, and he went and stayed with a tribe in Africa for almost a year, and they showed him, they took him to a cannibalistic tribe, and he, one of their doctors or what, one of their witch doctors were sick, and he went over there and he could not understand why this guy was sick, and he took blood samples from him, and his blood was completely black, and he thought he had a blood disease. So he was doing research on the blood and everything, but that blood that the witch doctor had was 100% stronger. His red blood cells and his white blood cells were a lot stronger than basic human blood. And it was fascinating to him. And supposedly this doctor never knew what was wrong with that witch doctor. He could not find a reason why he was sick. But he literally captured one of the younger tribesmen from that tribe and took him to, I think it was Oxford. And started doing experiments on this guy. And they did everything from cutting him with knives and poking him with spears and doing all this stuff to see how well he healed and how quickly he healed. And he even quoted that not even bot flies would go near this individual's opened wounds. And like the bot flies were repelled by the smell of this tribesman's blood. But it's called The Cannibal Within. It was more like a book on like his medical diary of this individual. It's a very interesting read. You should look it up. But I believe the guy's name was Dr. Mallard D. Harringer? Harriman or Herringer? Yeah, David. Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah, yeah, yes, Sarah. Dr. Pepper. Hey, what was her name? Oz. Oh, what was her name? Countess. Whatever that was bathing in the blood of 1,000 virgins. I mean, technically, she was one of the rich, and who says that they don't? You know what I mean? Because look in America, look how many homeless, how many runaways go missing every day, especially in places that do have the rich, like uh California. You know what I mean? Take care, CR brother. Take care, brother. But look how many homeless, how many runaways, how many prostitutes go missing every day, supposedly on the border of Mexico and California. I mean, who who to say that the rich doesn't do this stuff? Because the Countess Barth, whatever that Countess was, right, Oz, right, brother. I mean, take for example Johnny Depp. I mean, look at him. I mean, look how old he is, and look how he's never had plastic surgery. He's never had anything to make him look the way he looks, you know? I mean, you can't stop age, don't get me wrong. But there is some celebrities, some rich people that it's like, look at Elon Musk, okay? Have you ever seen Elon Musk's pictures of what he looked like 20 years ago or 10 years ago? He looked like he was balding, and he looked like he was in his 40s or 50s when he was in his 20s. And now that he's super rich, like he was balding. He was literally going bald. And now he has a full head of hair, and he looks younger now than he did in his 20s. Right. He gets hungry when, yeah, he gets hungry when we talk about anything. But It's just no, no. Well, technically, it is a plastic bottle. It is a plastic bottle, Sarah. So it could be. It could be used as a water enema. But anyways, yeah. So anyways, tomorrow I'll go live again. Um we will discuss. I'll bring my laptop again and we'll do a screen share. And tomorrow I want to talk about items to use and to buy, and cheap items that you can use, and cheap items you can buy and not break the bank for. Think green. I got you. I got you, Oz. Yeah, yes, Sarah. Oh god. But tomorrow we will discuss items that serve multi functions. And also we will um, we'll show how to make a bag on the cheap. Okay. And we'll use the cheap websites that you can order from. We'll even go on Amazon, see what they have on Amazon, but we'll use the two basic cheap websites, Wish and Alibaba. Oh, reading a book on it, huh, Oz? So I I'll be getting off at 11 tomorrow, and oh, I know, Sarah. Thank you. Somebody does, but until then, family, I love you all. Y'all have a great day and a good night. I love y'all. I'll see y'all again tomorrow. All right. Take care, family. And always be aware of your surroundings. And always, always take care of yourself. Take care, Oz, brother. Take care, Sarah, sis. Love you too, sis. Love you all, family. Take care, brothers and sisters. Bye. Do, 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 do.